And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I tell you folks, when it comes to the world's foods, kimchi is underrated. There just isn't enough talk about it in games and in other places. I will content myself with having probably the world's only kimchi Thai. And I say all that because kimchi is not in this game. Miam or Miam, or, I showed the people around here and they're like, oh, Miami without the I. Well, what have you. Again, this is another one of the small boxes that's made by MJ Games and distributed by Asmodee. And this one is, when you first read the rules, you're like, kind of like Memory Match. Well, when you play it, it's actually, there's some strategy and things, and yeah, it's kind of like Memory Match. Yeah, there's some differences. I'll show them to you now, but I don't know. Let's look at it. The goal of this game is to get the most money. Everybody starts with 5, and then all the cards are shuffled and placed, scattered on the table, and probably more of a scattering than I have them now, because it's kind of like Memory Match. On your turn, you turn over 2 of these cards face up, and then you get to pick which one you want. So I'll say, oh, lemonade, delicious. And then the next guy, he turns over 2 cards, and he takes one of those. So he has between egg and cheese. Ooh, yummy egg. Now what you're trying to do is you are trying to get a set of cards, and you look at the backgrounds, the same color and same pattern. For example, these are both cheeses, and so you have a set of 2. Because at the beginning of your turn, if you want to, you can sell a set and get money for it. 2 cards will give you 2 points. 3 cards of the same will give you 5 points. 4 cards of the same give you a gold coin, 10 points. And 5 cards of the same, you get 16 points. You know, a 10, a 5, and a 1. And so obviously you want to save up for 5 of the same kind. But you got to be careful because players will be getting special cards. The Miam or Miam card will let you steal a card from somebody else. There's also a 2-for-1 card, which lets you take both the cards you turn over rather than just one. You're a very hungry person at this point. And there's some joker cards out there too, which count as wilds. Let's see if we can find one. With our, oh, I did such a good mixing up job, we can't even find the jokers. There you go. That counts as anything. Also, on your turn, you're allowed to auction off one of the cards to another player. So I can say, oh, or even a set. I can say, oh, I got a candy. Who wants a candy? So I'll give you 1 for it, because they know that's going to give them a set of 4. And so they're going to get 10 out of that, while they have a set of 3 right now. So it's worth a lot to them to pay maybe 2 or 3. And so you have to know how to auction the cards off to your best benefit and trade with other players. The game will continue to go until the cards are discarded. Once there's only 1 card left in the middle of the table, then everyone finishes their turn. Everyone goes around one more time, and the game is over. Well, that didn't sound incredibly exciting as an end-to-end game, and it's really not. The Miam is a game which has some interesting ideas. Turn over 2 cards, keep 1. The other card you're not keeping, and you might be like alerting someone else to that. When you take a card, will you take one that you need or one that you know someone else needs, hoping to sell it to them later on at a good price? Yes, that's interesting. But what this feels like, what Miam feels like, is it feels like it's part of a larger game. This whole selling cards to another player, collecting sets, it's really, in a sense, boring. I mean, I like the cards. I like the fact that there's food on them, and I like food, you know, and it's fun to collect sets of food. But overall, Miam just doesn't do anything for me. When I'm done, it's like, ugh. I mean, it's not the same as Memory Match, and it certainly has its own difference where you can sell cards to other players and special cards, steal a card from someone else. But when you're done playing it, I just get this feeling of, is that it? Is there nothing else? It's boring. And I guess that's just not a very good thing for this kind of game.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.